All right, welcome to 4.2. We're going to be talking about intercepts. Last time we talked about slopes. Today we're doing intercepts, and then we're going to combine them in the next lesson doing slope-intercept form. All right, so an intercept is where a line crosses the x and y axis. The x-intercept is where the line crosses or intersects the x-axis, and the y-intercept is where the line crosses or intersects the y-axis. Okay, so when you have a graph, it's fairly straightforward to determine where the x and y intercepts are. Okay, one thing you need to make sure is, it tells you this is your y-axis. Okay, so if we want to find the y-intercept, it's where it crosses that line. Okay, kind of did a bad job on that. So this is the y-axis, and that line crosses it at this point. All right. When you're writing down your ordered pairs, please remember that it's x comma y. It's like alphabetically ordered. Okay, so we want to write down the x value first and then the y value. So here the x value, here's our x-axis, so we'd look at this point and we'd say, oh, it crosses it at 0. So we have a y-intercept of 0, comma, and then it has a y value of 3. All right? So this would be 0, 3. And if we want to find the x-intercept, well, we want to see where it crosses the x-axis. So that would be right here. And then we'd want to find the x value. Well, that would be a positive 3. And then the y value, it would be right here at 0. Okay, it's not up or down from the x-axis, so y must be 0. Okay? All right, so here's another example. You could have something where it crosses the x-axis more than once for a function. You could have a line that crosses the y-axis more than once, but that would not be a function. And you'll probably talk about that more next year when we talk about functions. Actually, I think we're doing it next semester. Okay? So anyways, we'll do the same sort of thing, x-intercept and y-intercept. So the y-intercept crosses the y-axis here at 0, -2. And the x-intercepts, well, we have 3 of them. One is here, another here, and another here. So I'll write down all 3 of them. So this first point on the left, that's -4. So the x value is -4, and the y value is 0. And then we have -1, 0. And then we have a +1, 0. So we have 3. Okay? This is called a cubic equation, right? But we're just going to be doing linear this unit, so don't have to worry about that too much. Okay, so pause and see if you can, well, sorry, I messed this up. First off, let's change this line. Sorry, let me change this line really quick. So if I do annotate, let's do a line. Okay, let's change this one. Something like, no, that's not a good one. Let's put a point here, and we'll put a point. Sorry, I'm kind of botching this. Put it there. And I'll put it right here. There we go. All right, so try that one. I'll fix that. Do the red. And then try this one as well. Okay? All right, sorry about that. Okay, let's go back and give this a try. So y-intercept, botch that again. Let's just forget about this one. Let's just write down what we do have. Okay? Let's do our estimate. Okay, so our y-intercept obviously is right there. So that would be 0, 4. Okay, this point here, I know that is 2 2/3, or 2.666. Okay, 0. Okay, so just estimate, I guess. Okay, sorry about that. And then this one, you should be able to do this one fine. Okay, so y-intercept, where it crosses the y-axis, would be right here. So that would be 0, 0. And then the x-intercept, we have 2. It crosses the x-axis. I'll do a different color here, purple. Okay, crosses it here at 0, 0. So it uses the same point as the y-intercept. And then it has another point here at 4, 0. All right, so hopefully I didn't botch that up too much. I don't know how I ran it up into that. Okay. Anyways, so intercepts from an equation. So above we did it with a graph. We're going to learn how to do it with an equation as well. So to find the x-intercept of an equation, all we need to do is set y equal to 0 and solve for x. Okay. So here we would, for x-intercept, we know that y is equal to 0. And we can look at these examples that we did up here. For all of these y-intercepts, x is equal to 0. Okay, it's got to be. X has to be 0 in order for something to be, for the y to be on the y-axis. Okay, so here we'll plug that in. Would get x is equal, or plus 0 is equal to 5. Well, that's just x is equal to 5. So here we have our ordered pair. Okay, 5, 0. That would be our x-intercept. And then to find the y-intercept, we set x equal to 0 and we solve for y. So here we'd do for the y-intercept, we know that x is equal to 0. So we get 0 plus 5, 0 plus y is equal to 5. So we end up getting our ordered pair of 0, 5 would be our y-intercept. Right? So if we were to graph that, it's going to look something like here. We have 5 here and we have 5 here, and it's just going to be some straight line that goes through those 2 points. All right? So here is another example. Again, if we want to find the x-intercept, we set y is equal to 0 and we solve. So we'll have 3x plus 4 times 0 is equal to 12. 4 times 0 is just 0. So all we need to do is divide both sides by 3. So we end up getting x is equal to 4. So our ordered pair will be 4, 0. So this is the x-intercept. And then for the y-intercept, okay, we know that x has got to be 0. So we'll have 3 times 0 plus 4y is equal to 12. That's just 0, so we'll just divide both sides by 4. And we end up getting y is equal to 3. That's our ordered pair. So we'd have 0, 3 is the y-intercept. So those are two things that they're asking for. All right, so here's some more. Maybe I will do C, and then I'd like you to try D, E, and F. Okay, so here, if we want to find the x-intercept, we know that y is equal to 0. So here we'd have 0 is equal to negative 2/5 x minus 2. And we need to solve for x. So again, we do like opposite of PEMDAS, or like you want to take off the things that are the furthest from x. Okay, so here we'd want to add 2 to both sides. 2 is equal to negative 2/5 x. Okay, and then I mean, you have two choices. You could just divide both sides by negative 2/5, or you could kind of peel it off. So you could say, well, I want to get rid of this, so I will multiply both sides by 5. The 5 and the 5 would cancel, so we'd get 10 is equal to negative 2x. and then we would perhaps divide both sides by -2. And we'd get x is equal to -5. Okay? That's probably how I would do it. All right, so now we have our x and our y. So we have -5, comma 0 is our x-intercept. All right? And then, let's see. If we want to find the y-intercept, this is already in slope-intercept form, so it's kind of nice. We know that x has got to be 0. So we'd have y equals -2/5 times 0 minus 2. And this is just 0. So we end up getting y is equal to -2. So the slope-intercept, or sorry, the y-intercept here would be y-intercept would be 0, comma -2. Okay? All right, so give D, E, and F a try. All right, hopefully you gave that a try. Okay, so again, we want to find the x-intercept. We set y equal to 0, so we'd get -x is equal to, or -x plus 0 is equal to 0. Okay, and we'd end up getting, maybe we would add x to the other side, and we'd end up getting x is equal to 0. So our x-intercept would be 0, comma 0. And then it'll be similar for a y-intercept. X is equal to 0, so we'd end up getting -0 plus y is equal to 0. Well, that's just 0. So we have the same point for the y-intercept is 0, comma 0. Right? Here is E. Hopefully you gave that one a try as well. So if I want to find the x-intercept, y is equal to 0. So -5x plus 0 is equal to 15. So we don't need that 0. We'll just divide both sides by -5. And we'll end up getting x is equal to -3. So our ordered pair here would be -3, comma 0. And then for the y-intercept, x is equal to 0. So we'd do -5 times 0 plus y is equal to 15. So -5 times 0 is just 0. So we end up getting y is equal to 15. So our y-intercept would be 0, comma 15. And last but not least, x-intercept. So y is equal to 0. Is this the same one I did up there? No, it's a little different. Okay, so we would end up getting 0 is equal to -8/5 x minus 16. So I would probably add 16 to both sides. Okay, and then maybe I would multiply both sides by 5. Cancel out those 5s. So that gives us 50 plus 30. So that gives us 80. All right, and then we'll just divide both sides by -8. So x is equal to -10. All right, so then we write our ordered pair as -10, comma 0. And that gives us our x-intercept. And then for the y-intercept, we know that x is 0. So we end up getting y is equal to, and when we plug 0 in there, that whole thing goes away, and we just get -16. So our y-intercept is 0, comma -16. All right, so hopefully that wasn't too bad. I know the problems takes quite a lot of steps. I mean, basically you're doing 2 problems, okay? And then let's just talk about some word problems, And we'll be focusing a lot of that on lesson 4. But let's see what we can come up with. So Kaylee baked this many cookies for her bake sale. She sells an average of 20 or 32 cookies every hour. Cookies per hour. Okay, so what is the slope? Okay, so again, the key here would be every. So the slope here is 32 cookies per hour. What's the Y-intercept? Okay, well that's just what the initial thing is. So she initially has, so the Y-intercept here would be initially at x equals 0, we have 265 cookies. Okay, so remember if it's a Y-intercept, x is equal to 0. So we want to write an equation that models this situation, okay? And we haven't really talked about this, but I imagine you've done this before, y equals mx plus b. So here we'll just plug in what we know. So y is equal to the slope, m is the slope, 32x, okay? And then the intercept, this would be b, so plus 265, okay? And then it says, what is the x-intercept? So to find the x-intercept, oh, sorry, I mentioned something. Okay, it says she sells the cookies, so she loses 32 cookies every hour. So this should be negative. Sorry about that. Okay, so we want to find what the x-intercept is. So basically, when all the cookies run out. So we're going to set, if we want to find the x-intercept, y is equal to 0. So 0 is equal to negative 32x plus 265. And then we'll solve. So we'll subtract 265. And then we'll divide both sides by 32, negative 32. Okay? Then you get your calculator out. Dooty, dooty, doot. Okay, so it ended up getting negative 265 divided by a negative 32. Okay, and I thought it would give me a nice fraction, but that ends up giving you x is equal to 265 over 32. Darn. Okay, so then we'd write our intercept in, with 2 points. So our x-intercepts. So that'd be, let's just write it as a decimal around. So 8.3, 0. Okay. Typically I don't want you to write decimals, but kind of messed that one up. So let's try this one again. Sorry if this one's taking a little long. You only need to watch as much as you feel like you're ready for it. So here, Dusty is making $18 per hour at his job, and Monday morning his checking account was 54. So what would be the slope? Well, he gets $18 per hour. So per is kind of your keyword. Intercept, what initial value is 54. Okay, so the y-intercept would be 0, 54. And then write the equation for that. So y equals mx plus b. Y is equal to 18 x plus 54. So he initially has that much, and then for every hour he works, he gets 18 more dollars. Okay, so what would be the x-intercept? So again, we would set y equal to 0. So y is equal to 18x plus 54. So we'd subtract 54 from both sides. And then we'd divide both sides by 18. And we'd end up getting x is equal to 54, negative 54 divided by 18. Okay, and that gives us a negative 3. All right, so our x-intercept would be -3, 0. All right? All right, hopefully that was all right. Again, we'll be focusing a lot more on the word problems in 4.4. All right, we'll see you guys.